Hey guys, what is up? It is Jimmy. Today I have a new gun for guys, and this is the LEGO Working Pistol V6 by Still Thinking. You're probably wondering why I decided to make a working pistol, especially from a tutorial, and that is just because I wanted a simple side project, and I did want a working gun again, since it has been a while since I've had this type of Technic style working gun. I believe the last time was one of Joe's LEGO guns, and that was several years ago. So yeah, I decided to go for this model because it looked extremely simple, and it actually had all the parts I have myself. So I did end up making quite a few changes, even though the base model is very nice, but we'll go over those changes eventually. So I guess we'll just start off with the grip here, which is pretty close to the initial model. The one obvious change that you can see is that I've added a back strap, which I just did with a few of these 1x2 Technic parts and a few jumper plates. It does just make it a lot more comfortable on the back than just having it completely flat like it used to be. I also ended up using some half beams on the sides here just because I felt like the whole beams were sticking out way too much and it kind of protruded into my hand, since I did actually need some space to have my hand on this grip. This part used to be several different parts. I don't exactly remember what it looked like before, but it was a few half beams at least for the magazine catch, which I'll go over a bit later. But I did decide to just do it like this because I came up with a different way that worked better. So we can also see on the other side that there is a 1x5 beam right here, which was not there before. Usually I think it was just empty here, so this part was all the magazine could slide on. But I did end up adding this piece and then removing the whole big piece that was on the magazine, just so that the magazine could slide in a lot easier. So now you can see the follower on the magazine slides on the light gray piece, goes into the black 1x5, and then once the magazine catches on the magazine release, the pressure will be applied to the black 1x5 instead of protruding the magazine out to the side like it used to. So speaking about the magazine, may as well just go over the changes that I made as well. The follower is pretty much the same thing. As I said, I did remove the whole 1x13 beam that was here. I believe it was a 1x13. So now it is just this 1x5 piece that I've added right here. I did end up changing up the way the follower gets locked down. So now it is just this piece that I have to manually pull off, I guess you could say, when I put it into the grip, since it is open in the grip. Before, I believe there used to be a 1x4 that kind of stuck over this and then stuck out like half a stud or so, and then when you put it into the grip, at some point the piece would get knocked back into place like so, and then it would make the follower shoot straight up, and that would just cause bullets to fly everywhere, unnecessary pressure. So yeah, I decided that the manual way was a lot better. So yeah, that is the magazine. I made two just to have quick reloading, I guess you could say, even though I've kind of used up all of my 1x3 Technic beams, but oh well. There's the magazine release, which I don't think looks amazing. It also sticks out way too much at the bottom, so when you have your hand resting here, it'll end up blocking the magazine release if you're trying to ride it up to the trigger guard. So that is pretty annoying. I do think a button style one would be a bit better. One more change that I made in this area is the trigger guard. It is now attached with a whole lot more cross-axle pieces to make it extremely stable. It was very, very, very flimsy in the initial tutorial model, where it was just connected a tiny bit, I do believe. So the whole grip would shift forwards when you put in the magazine, and it would just cause a ton of issues. As you can see, the trigger has also been changed. First off, I put the gears on the other side just because it looks a bit neater on the actual side that you're gonna see. And then I also swapped out the 1x3 Technic pieces for some 1x4 Technic pieces to make the trigger a bit larger, because usually it was this size and it looked kind of stupid with that big of a trigger guard. So it doesn't really make any huge change in functionality to the model. It does actually make the leverage a bit easier on the trigger, especially with a strong rubber band. On the slide, I haven't really changed too much. I just added a few jumper plates on the sides of the Technic pieces that were already there, just to make it a lot easier to actually charge up the gun. On the back, we actually have a rear sight, which was not there before. It was just one little pin that stuck up right here. And I do feel like it is a lot better having a proper rear sight, so I just used this Technic piece right here. And then I kind of altered the way everything was connected at the top. It does also fill in the gap that used to be left in there by the slide. So as I said, there used to be a pin here. That was kind of the only way you could aim this thing. But I did end up adding some length to the front. So I do believe I just added one pin, or one beam I mean, in the front. This L beam was here before, but the 1x5 beam that I've added here was not. I just wanted to add some more length to this thing because I thought that such a big grip with such a tiny barrel just looked really strange. But it did also give me the opportunity to put a sight on the front, so this thing actually aims really well. You can see we have some pins right in front here. Those are not just there for connecting, we can actually use it for attaching a suppressor. And there we go, now we have a suppressed working Lego pistol. The nice thing is that the suppressor does not actually affect the range or power to the pistol. There's nothing really covering everything up, so you can see the whole mechanism working on the inside. So you can see here the follower piece, or shooting piece, and I guess we can call it, is just held in by these two Technic pieces right here with the rubber band attached in the front. And you can just see a 1x1 bush piece right in there. You can also use a half bush, but so it does just right over the trigger like so, and by then it actually just locks onto the trigger. But when we pull it a bit further back, it can push back this blue 1x5 beam, which then does so a magazine can shoot into the chamber. The round will then end up right behind the 1x1 bush piece, and then when you push the slide forwards, you can fire. Extremely simple mechanism. Loading the bullets, you can do it whichever way you can. I have actually, I was going to say made a speed loader, but it is pretty much just a pin with an end stop and a few Technic pieces that I just slide the 1x3 beams onto. You can also just load it manually. And then once the magazine is fully loaded up, we can just put this 1x3 piece to the side, and then it'll hold the follower down until we put the magazine into the pistol. And at this point, we are ready to fire. This thing actually aims really well. The nice thing is that the suppressor does not actually affect the range or power to the pistol. Okay, so after an extremely embarrassing firing test where I lost several 1x3 beams, I'm now ready to take this thing apart. So we'll start off with just grabbing the suppressor, turning it off real quick. So making sure the whole thing is empty so we don't get blasted in the hand, because this thing is apparently crazy powerful and it hurts like hell to shoot your hand with it. I have figured that out in the past. Just tear this piece off and then the other piece comes loose automatically. And you can see the whole top just kind of tilts off, just like so. We can remove our slide, make sure that our rubber band pieces don't go flying, because they usually do. There we go. That is the single rubber band that causes all of the power and pain. And here we have I guess you could say heart of the mechanism of the gun. So this is the 1x5 beam that is powered by a rubber band, which just holds it in position right here to keep the bullets from flying out. The only thing preventing the blue piece from going anywhere is the inside and top of the slide, so it doesn't slide off to any of the sides, and it can't really go off the top either. So when the firing piece comes from here, it obviously slides over the trigger like so, comes back, pushes this back, and then allows the follower to pop up with the next bullet. Of course, this isn't gonna get stuck necessarily. On the return, everything will just push itself back together, or this piece will actually stay around here, and then we'll have the firing piece in the front, and then the 1x3 in here, and then once we press the trigger, the 1x3 will go flying out. Here's the simple modification that I made just to make it a bit longer, and also add the sight piece. As you can see, pretty simple change to make. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do have another working gun that I will upload eventually. So yeah, just stick around for that. So yeah, I'll see you guys. Goodbye.